And let's go to the phone and say good morning to Professor Neal Lester at Arizona State University. Good morning, Professor.
Good morning. How are you?
Very good. Nice to have you with us today. What do you teach there at ASU?
I'm an English professor, and I teach courses in African American literature and culture. So everything from Toni Morrison to the N-word.
That covers quite a bit of territory.
Yeah, it does.
It does indeed.
And I'm glad someone is teaching English in this country.
Me too.
Well, we've always taught something that we called English, and my specific focus is not necessarily on grammar, but rather on literature and culture. So ways in which we can understand each other by being more empathetic through literature and culture.
I'm fascinated by this program that you have because obviously it goes without saying that some of us don't realize how lucky we are. And,
oh, goodness, yes.
And others who are in a much worse shape than we are. And right. If these two can come together somehow, and you've done this for a while, tell us about your program.
Yeah, well, I co-founded something called Project Humanities about 4 years ago, reward-winning at various levels. And what we've tried to do is to get people to talk, listen, and connect. And so within that, we have something called Humanity 101, and that arose from this notion of, are we losing our humanity? It doesn't take a whole lot of perusing around to see headlines that suggest that we have. So we've created programming around principles that we call Humanity 101, compassion, empathy, forgiveness, integrity, kindness, respect, and self-reflection. But to make sure that this is not just an academic inside the classroom conversation, we wanted to put Humanity 101 in action. And our outreach to an adult homeless population has allowed us to do that. So every other Saturday for the past 2+ years now, a group of us, not just students, but faculty, administrators, people from community colleges, high school students, families have come out from 6:30 a.m. to 8:55 to distribute gently used clothes, hygiene products, and now, since it's so hot, water to about 250 to 300 adult homeless individuals. And it has just been transformative for those of us who have gone out and recognized that we really can control how we treat each other, even when we can't control the evil that we see manifested in headlines.
What are some of the responses from the people who are volunteering? What are you hearing from them?
Well, it's not just what I'm hearing, but it's what I'm seeing. Because, we start with a core of about 5 people who come out regularly. And for those who say, well, it's too early and I can't get up, and I keep thinking, well, do you recognize what a position of privilege that is when you say it's too early that you can't go out?
Right.
What I've noticed is that once people hear about this, they want to participate. I think we're in a moment where there's so much going on in the world where we feel that we don't have any control. And this is one of those moments where we can sort of take some of that agency back for ourselves. And the irony is that we're not focused on ourselves when we are there doing this service. So those who come out, they come back, and they bring people with them, and they bring donations, and they talk to their respective employers to get donations. So it has just been incredible. I mean, one story is a group out in Gilbert saw our story in Raising Arizona Kids and had her little elementary students and children collect 400 pairs of shoes. It was just astounding what these little kids had done because they wanted to participate in this effort too. We've got another organization that heard about us just a week ago and decided they wanted to donate 5,000 bottles of water. So people want to help. And it just reiterates this notion that we can be as separate as the fingers, yet one is the hand in any matter of progress.
I like how you said that.
That's what we try to embody. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Now, homeless suggests that a person has no permanent place to live. Where do you find the people in order to help them?
Well, we don't find them. We actually go to them, and I don't mean them in a kind of disparaging disconnect. There are lots and lots of homeless populations around the valley. And this started as a kind of extension of some of the work that I was doing at my local church, the historic Tanner Chapel Church. But they were focused on, in their manna ministries, with food distribution, non-perishable items. And what I noticed in doing that when I first started solo was that the individuals we were serving wanted clothing. And so I saw that as the niche that we could create and call it our Project Humanities Clothing Corner. And that's where we have sort of focused on, and fortunately, in this case, this is just adult clothing and adult population we're servicing. But there are populations all around the valley, unfortunately. And I will add this, that homelessness has taught me and others that homelessness is not an identity, but rather a circumstance. And even though we may not believe it, any number of us could be unstable, couch surfing, those things that constitute homelessness at any given moment. All it takes is an unfortunate event, and we can't control all those things in our lives. And I think for just this moment, it gives us an opportunity to not only give back, but to also stop focusing on what's going on in our lives when we sort of blow those things out of proportion. So people come back, and then the people we serve, and I do talk about that as service, are just so grateful for what we've done, and it seems so little to us, but to many of them it seems so much. So, it's a transient community, so we don't always see the same people, and that's a good thing. But all we can do is sort of provide this one moment where we feel like we have some control in the world when there's so many things that we cannot control.
Professor Neal Lester joining us this morning. You said every other Saturday. Is this
every other Saturday?
Is this a year-round program?
It is all year round. See, that's the other thing, too. I noticed that organizations come out, and I was probably like that before I decided to take this on as a cause, is that we tend to think around Thanksgiving and around holidays that we should go out and, serve the homeless. And the thing about homelessness is it's not seasonal. Homelessness is not, and I could talk about homelessness in terms of not just living on the streets, but if you're searching from couch to couch, couch surfing, then you are also unstable as well. So we have been doing this every other Saturday, and it continues to grow. We've had as many as 33 volunteers who come out and help distribute the clothing. We've tried to create moments where this is not about diving into a pile of clothes, but separating them according to men's and women's, summer and winter, fall, and recognizing that people who are here may actually be someplace else tomorrow.
We're almost up out of time here, but I do want to ask you this for our listeners who are certainly interested in this, and I'm sure there are. How can they volunteer and or make donations?
We have all those details on our website. It's www.humanities.asu.edu, or you can Google Project Humanities, and right there on the homepage is a slider that says volunteering, and it seems so little for a need that is so great.
Terrific work that you're doing, and I did want to talk to you about this and share the word with everybody else. Thank you very much for being on our program.
Absolutely, thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, you have a great day.
You too.
All right, 15 seconds. What happens? No, 40 seconds now. The market opens. That's what's happening. And we're hoping for a good, positive day. Whatever, we'll report it to you, so stick around here. You're listening to the Business for Breakfast Show.